Allison, it's good to see you again. Please have a seat. I need to speak with you. Why am I whispering? That's going to become clear very, very soon. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me in private. I think it would be a good idea if you whispered as well. Listen, I get it. You and Jake have had a very hard time lately, especially with Emily. I get that. No. Please, don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to meddle in and give you advice on what to do with your family. That's the last thing I would ever do. Jake is a really good friend, and I care about him. And Emily is a very sweet girl. And I do worry about you as well, Allison. Okay, maybe it is misplaced, but maybe not. Look, this isn't going the way I expected, so I'll just say it. I get it. You like going to Renaissance Fair. You like going to one Renaissance Fair after another. It's what helps you to de-stress. You get to pretend to be someone else. A queen. Maybe even a attractive peasant woman. It's fun to dress up, it's fun to have a good time. But when you found that medieval spell book over at that antique fair, honestly, I think you should have left it alone. Look, you started acting weird, and Jake and we talked about what we could do about it, about how to help you. Basically, I became convinced that you had been possessed by the spirit of a dead wife and mother, a young one, quite frankly. Maybe not from the medieval period. I mean, your behavior changed so much. It took us a while, but Jake and we tracked down a Wiccan, or as most people would call her, a witch. She recognized the spell book immediately. Being an older woman, she said what we needed to do. She agreed with me that you had been taken over by a ghost. And even though it was your body, it wasn't you. Look, some of the ingredients we gathered were very hard to find. She performed the spell, and everything seems to have gone back to normal. Now, I get it. You claim you weren't feeling well. You claim you have no clue what Jake and I are talking about. Okay, fair enough. Listen. There's something I need to return to you. Yeah, that's yours. That is a wrought iron. Well, that's basically what passes for a medieval fork, so I'm returning it to you. It's yours. Go ahead. Pick it up. Here, let me help you. Go ahead. All you have to do is reach over and pick it up. Yeah. Well, most of these medieval fairs, they have actual blacksmiths, and there was one who made that for you. A medieval fork, made from wrought iron. Go ahead, Allison. Why don't you pick it up? Why don't you pick it up? Why don't you pick it up? Because you don't want anything to do with it, is that it? Why do you seem afraid? I guess the witch was right. Spirits who take over human bodies can't pick up anything made from wrought iron. It brings them incredible, uncontrollable pain. It's like they're allergic to it. Okay, time to put all our cards on the table. I know you're not Allison. I know Jake and I failed when it came to gathering the ingredients. I got all the proper ingredients. Jake, he couldn't find a couple of items, so he used substitutes. Just a couple of items that he thought were good enough. They weren't. That old witch was very clear what we needed to get for the ceremony to get Allison back. And Jake, well, he's a good man, but he always did like to cut corners. Not exactly a good thing when you're a mechanic, or when your wife gets possessed by a spirit, now is it? Look, I'm gonna make this very clear. Allison was a miserable drunk, and even though Jake won't admit it, I know she put her hands on Emily, and I'm not talking about giving her hugs and kisses. You know what I'm saying is true. Jake didn't want to admit it to me because he knew that I'd call Child Protective Services and get that poor girl some help. Here's the thing. I don't give a damn that Allison only hit her when she was drunk. No one held a gun to her head. No one forced her to drink. She knew she had a problem, but she refused to get help for it. Well, now we have a solution, don't we? I've seen the way you treat Emily. I've seen the way you treat Jake. You want me to admit it? I will. You're a much better wife and mother than Allison ever was. And according to Jake, he was going to leave her and take Emily with him. And then, here comes Allison, a month after the seance, exorcism, whatever you want to call it. A month after Jake and I went through all of that with the old witch. Here comes Allison a month later, saying she has a problem, saying she wants to get help, saying she wants to be a better mother and wife, begging Jake for a second chance. Yeah, that's not like Allison. Not one bit. Yeah, I knew her just long enough to know what type of person she is. Or I guess was. Allison's gone now. Whoever you are, I don't give a rat's ass who you are. You treat Jake well. You treat his daughter, Emily, well. Screw Allison, she was a worthless joke of a human being and a pathetic excuse for a mother. So you took over her body, okay? She was the one stupid enough to read from the book out loud, even though there was a warning at the start of the freaking chapter that says, do not say these words out loud. I just wanted you to know that I know. And so far, you've been doing a pretty good job convincing Jake and his family that you, as Allison, want to turn your life around, to be a better mother, a better wife, to stop drinking. That's good. That's good. You keep going to those AA meetings. You keep putting on that act. Yeah. Pretty soon, you'll have a 1-year sober pin. You keep that pin. You pretend you cherish it. Keep going to those meetings. Every now and then, late at night, give your sponsor a call and pretend that you're having a tough time resisting alcohol. Keep going on with the act. It'll be at least a handful of years before you can pretend that alcohol isn't an issue. But you'll never be able to drink alcohol in front of Jake or Emily or any of their family members, ever. That's how it works. Oh, you might be wondering how I figured out that the counter spell from the witch didn't work. Little bit of advice. I know that strawberries are delicious, but Allison is highly allergic to them. So yeah, a week ago, over at that barbecue, when you were off in a corner and no one was really paying attention to you, and you were shoving those strawberries down your throat. Yeah. Basically, if you were the real Allison, your throat would have swollen up shut, and you would have had to go to the emergency room. And considering how many strawberries you ate, you probably would have died. Yeah. Listen, as long as you're in Allison's body, you can never drink a drop of alcohol, or Jake will leave you. As long as you're in Allison's body, you can never eat strawberries in front of anyone, ever again, because Allison is allergic to strawberries. And quite frankly, that is something that is never gonna change. It's never gonna go away. So you have to be careful with that. Why am I doing this? Why have I agreed to keep my mouth shut? Because Jake deserves a loving wife, and even more importantly, Emily deserves a mother, one who's not going to beat on her. Look, when Emily gets a little bit older, you'll apologize to her for beating her. Yes, I know that was Allison, not you, but you're in her body now. So when Emily gets a little older, you apologize. You blame it on the alcohol, and then you do whatever you can to basically make it up to her. She'll understand. She's a bright kid. I hope we never have a conversation like this ever again. Remember, no alcohol, no strawberries.